Chakra number 4, the heart chakra, the tone of F. This stage was followed more quickly by the addition of the heart chakra at the same time that these simple creatures developed a conscience, a need to feel responsible for their actions against others. This heart chakra was a quickly developing one, as it became urgently necessary to keep the cavemen from destroying each other. Thus the animal began to have feelings and emotions to deal with in connection with his instincts. The third center, the solar plexus, was not deliberately closed off, but fell into disuse due to the heavy activity of the second and fourth centers. The first level, tone of C. The first level of the heart chakra is that of being aware that we are only half of our beingness that is on the earth. This is the cause of the terrible feelings of loneliness that all experience, and the feeling of incompleteness that we all have until we have progressed spiritually to the point of finding our God within. The second level, a tone of D. The second level of the heart chakra is that which causes a knowingness that there is help or an answer as to why we feel this way. Without the second chakra, the first would be unbearable. Anyone with suicidal tendencies due to feeling alone could be helped by a tuning of this second level. The third level, the tone of E. The third level of tuning is an acknowledgement of a higher authority figure in whom we trust and to whom we pray. In early man, this took many forms, and the outgrowth was a belief in a fatherly figure on high known as God. With this level of tuning came all or most of our hang-ups and guilt, which have wreaked havoc with the spirit's progress. The fourth level, the tone of F. The fourth level of the heart chakra is a realization that God will be found inside our own mind. The opening of the fourth level is a long process. As a person flows with the new energy and the feelings it brings, he will be less demanding of the attention of others and able to let go of his children and allow them their independence. The fifth level, the tone of G. The fifth level of tuning of the heart chakra is that of being able to be in constant communication with the other half of our soul for guidance. This is manifested as a conscience and is called the Christ consciousness mistakenly. The sixth level, the tone of A. This leads to individual consciousness and taking responsibility for ourselves and our personal destiny, which is the sixth level. The seventh level, the tone of B. The seventh level is the wanting to help and teach others of what we have discovered. This level must be open for one to be a true spiritual teacher. Many who are teaching have not progressed to this point of opening the heart chakra, and therefore are not considered qualified spiritual teachers by those helping planet Earth. The eighth level, the tone of high C. The eighth level is the realization that we are all one, that we are all a part of each other, the shattered energy of our Creator, and brings about unconditional love. Chakra number 5, the throat chakra, tone of G. Thus the animal forms had developed into an upright, almost tailless form that began to sense their difference from the animals that stayed on all fours. They began letting others know what they meant by simple grunts and sign language. The sensing of others' thoughts, this ESP, so to speak, began fading, and needing a means to communicate, the throat chakra drew the energy bundle from the solar plexus up to the throat, and the fifth chakra came into being. The grunts turned into distinguishable, intelligible sounds that developed quickly into a language. Once there was a language where people could talk to each other, this brought about the growth of the mental body, which was necessary. The first level, the tone of C. The first level of this chakra is communication with those of like vibration. This is not an inherent trait, it is a learned trait still in the human. In other words, it is not part of the animal-based brain, it is a result of the inseminations done by the higher planes. The animal form does not have the refined vocal cords that humans have. This was a gift from our Creator. The second level, a tone of D. The second stage of the throat chakra is the ability to receive back the sounds from others, a link between the ear and the vocal cords. This link is a nerve that runs from the vocal cords to the sensory cells of the brain, the receptors in the ears. For further development of the throat chakra to have any meaning, it had to be heard by others. The third level, the tone of E. The The third stage of the throat chakra is that of using the same sounds to mean the same things every time these early humans tried to communicate with each other. This would be similar to a high-pitched squeal if a large animal was spotted, or a low hum if a baby were sleeping, or all sorts of different inflections of a monotone that developed. The fourth level, the tone of F. The fourth stage was that of actually setting these sounds into patterns for the different items of living that these people communicated to each other about. The fifth level, the tone of G. The fifth stage is that of refinement of speech patterns in conjunction with those you are communicating with. In other words, speaking the same language. This was a development of different languages that took place and is still taking place within a certain social group. The sixth level, the tone of A. The sixth stage of the throat chakra is that of being able to sing. This stage is inherent within the throat chakra from the time of the birth of the form, but cannot be accessed until the vibratory rate of the vocal cords has reached the same level as the rest of the chakras on that particular form. The seventh level, the tone of B. Regardless, the seventh stage of the throat chakra is a vibration in the speaking voice that makes it able to penetrate to all those who hear it and hold their attention with what is being said by this voice with this vibration. Jesus had this vibration of the vocal cords. It was due to the high evolution of the human form he entered. The eighth level, the tone of high C. Regardless, this is as far as the throat chakra has progressed in the human. The eighth stage of it is not open on anyone. It has to do with silent communication, direct voice-to-ear communication of exact language. The sixth chakra, the third eye chakra, the tone of A. The first stage of the sixth chakra was an actual vision that the early forms had, the first forms that were born after the separation from the animals took place. The higher genes that were inseminated caused an inner eye to form that was a transforming of the antenna on certain animals. It formed an inner antenna, which is what the third eye really is. The misuse of the third eye developed due partly to man's deviousness and cunning and manipulation. When they wanted to know what others were thinking so they could manipulate them or beat them in inventing something, they used their imagination to visualize what the other was thinking, trying to second-guess the other. The first level, the tone of C. The first stage of the sixth chakra, then, was the actual vision with the human eyes shut. These early forms had the ability to see whatever was in their path at night or with their eyes closed during the day. Those who are born blind today revert to this ability as a matter of instinct. They sense these objects but do not see them clearly. The early forms were able to see them clearly. The second level, the tone of D. The second stage of this chakra was the ability to see into the thoughts of other humans. It was closely associated, and still is, with the human eyes. The expression that was seen in the human eye was a direct reflection of the thoughts of this other one, and the third eye learned to read these thoughts by interpreting the expression in the human eye and listening to the inflection of the vocal sounds this other one was making. The third level, the tone of E. The third stage of this sixth chakra was that of being backed off or shut down due to the development of speech and disuse of the inner vision for safety with the civilization of the human. Fires at night made it unnecessary to use the inner vision when a torch could light the way. The fourth level, tone of F. The fourth stage of this chakra is total disuse. People felt better and more secure using their outer sensory aids, and this chakra fell into disuse. The fifth level, the tone of G. The fifth level of the third eye is a resurgence of inner vision with a focus of the large universe in miniature. This begins as a sensing of colors and patterns of the other planets. The sixth level, the tone of A. The sixth stage is that of the return of being able to read the thoughts of others. The seventh level, the tone of B. The seventh stage is inward vision in microform of events that take place on the other planets. In other words, a miniature vision of the macro universe. It is as though you have a television set that can be tuned to the other large planets in the universe and a tiny micro-sized television receiver in your forehead. The eighth level, the tone of high C. The 8th stage of this chakra is to be able to take these microvisions and enlarge them into your physical world and see them as the same size as you. This accounts for the visions that people have. Chakra number 7, the crown chakra, tone of B. This 7th chakra was a result of the combining of all the other chakras into one that allows for reaching your inner being, or your God within. This chakra was not reached until the Renaissance period. A few individuals started reaching the ability for inner communication with not just themselves, but also with the conglomerate that was in charge of guiding planet Earth at that time. This period was that of the master musicians and the great artists. It also incorporated the breaking up of the stronghold of the Catholic Church, the Crusades. All of this activity took place because the crown chakra came into being at that time. It is a relatively new chakra for the human, and many do not have it open any stage of it. The first level, the tone of C. The first stage of the crown chakra is that of being aware that there is an inner part of you, something bigger than what is going on in the daily activity of living. Not all are born with this knowingness, even today. Some acquire it after birth, but very few are born with this stage of the chakra open. The opening of this chakra is usually a result of the development of all the other chakras in a lifetime, and it is normally reached at an older age than all the other chakras. The second level, tone of D. The second stage of the crown chakra is the ability to hear the inner voice, that still small voice within. The third level, a tone of E. The third stage is simply that of using this ability. This is as far as most people progress to in a lifetime. The fourth level, the tone of F. The fourth stage is where they should be progressed to but aren't. This is the use of this ability to contact other dimensions outside of yourself. By this I mean the inner being of others you are associated with. This is not reading their thoughts on a level of daily physical activity. This is a much deeper communication with them, a soul communication, a working together on the inner planes that carries over as a knowingness into the daily life. The fifth level, the tone of G. The fifth level is one of attaining the Christ consciousness, that of knowing beyond a doubt that all are one, and that one is the mind of the Creator. The sixth level, tone of A. The sixth stage is living your life by this knowledge. In channeling, it is the incorporation of the higher thoughts into the animal-based brain of the individual. It will seem more and more like the person's own mind when they are actually channeling. Even the person will not be able to tell quite often that they are channeling. The more subdued the animalistic instincts of the animal-based brain, the more strongly the stream of intelligence can enter. Therein lies the makings of our geniuses. The seventh level, the tone of B. The seventh stage of the crown chakra is that of being a Messiah, a savior for the people who cannot reach this stage. They need to know there is more to their lives than what they experience, and those at the seventh level are prepared to bring them this knowledge. Level 8, tone of high C. The eighth level is that of calm and peacefulness and total acceptance of self and others. When at level 7, waiting to access level 8, sometimes the energy for the 8th level can be described as a whirling around the head or a feeling as though a bird is sitting on your head flapping its wings. When you accept this level or stage and let this energy enter the brain instead of keeping it outside whirling effortlessly around your brain, then will you achieve all that you want. The apex of the mind is the inner part of the crown chakra, and is not reached until and unless the crown chakra is open. The apex is, biologically speaking, a thin part of the skull directly on the topmost part of the head when holding the head straight.